Welcome to the Extended Bench, your YouTube home for all things rugby league news, analysis, history and opinion. Subscribe so you don't miss a video and give us a thumbs up. The Extended Bench is part of the Rugby League Monthly Network, which includes a monthly online digital magazine available at rugbyleaguemonthly.com and the daily podcast Rugby League Daily, which airs during the NRL season. All links are down below in the description. Let's get into it. The end of Melbourne's 2021 campaign was very well un-Melbourne-like. It was full of drop balls, mistakes, errors against Penrith in the preliminary final. It's just not what we come to expect from Melbourne in big games. But that doesn't mean anything for 2022. Melbourne is as Melbourne does, and there has been no more consistent side in the past 20 years than the team from Victoria. Their 2020 and 2021 seasons were made all the more impressive by the fact they spent the vast majority of those years based in Queensland away from their home. Their squad will once again have to adapt. They've lost Nicho Hynes, Dale Finucane and Josh Addo-Carr. But they've quickly gone and covered those losses. Addo-Carr departed for Belmore and he was soon replaced by Xavier Coates from Brisbane. And while they've lost Nicho Hynes, they've gone and picked up Nick Meaney from the Bulldogs. And Melbourne can easily turn that type of player into, an Origin player. Just go and ask Brenko Lee. And despite Finucane being an Origin player, the Storm are incredibly well served in their middle forwards. They've still got to sort out what they're doing with Nelson Asofa-Solomona, and he may end up going to rugby, but they still possess a very potent middle. They've got, obviously, Big Nelson if he sticks around, otherwise they've got Tui Kamikamica, Christian Welch, Jesse Bromwich, and even Tepai Moroa, who's stuck around for another year after he cut his little trip to rugby union short. I've covered Melbourne's ability to roll out NRL players before on Rugby League Monthly, and the links are in the description for that. But reflecting on their 2021 season, it was nearly unbelievable. 19 consecutive wins, second highest number of points, and a minor premiership. Is a pretty damn good way to back up their 2020 premiership, even if they didn't eventually win it again. There aren't too many weaknesses in this squad, as you kind of expect from Melbourne. Xavier Coates is still one of the quickest in the league, so he's not going to lose too much there from Josh Addo-Carr. But he also presents a very big aerial threat for Melbourne, and it's something they haven't had for a while. The Storm are a team that spreads their try scoring out across the park with no one side really favoured. So 2022 will be interesting to see how they utilise Brandon Smith and Harry Grant. Injuries to Grant often meant Smith was the only hooker available during 2021, because Grant only played 15 games during a 25-week season, leaving Smith to do a lot of the starting work. And when they were together, Bellamy sometimes chopped and changed. Sometimes Smith would start, sometimes Grant would. But by the end of the season, he seemed to have settled on Grant starting matches and Smith coming on to increase the tempo. Now, obviously, they'll be expecting Ryan Papenhuyzen to have a lot more of a consistent season on the field. He unfortunately suffered some pretty bad concussion symptoms, which led him to missing most of 2021. But Nicho Hynes did a pretty good job deputising there at fullback. They won't have Hynes to fill in there again next year. They rely a lot on their fullback to act as the link man in their second man plays, while Papenhuyzen is often a danger through the middle, particularly as games wear on and middle forwards get tired. He's fast enough to just sniff around the ruck and get that short pass to explode through a gap, and quite often he's the fastest man on the field, so the fullback isn't really going to stop him from a long way out. Similarly to Penrith, Melbourne are once again going to have to try and match their unbelievable form of previous seasons. Unlike the Panthers though, they've been doing this for 20 years. They've more than coped with the loss of Cooper Cronk, Billy Slater and Cameron Smith. They know what they're doing here. And that's why I see them as minor premiers again in 2022 and premiers once more.